Calling all globetrotters and movie buffs, this episode features Gordon Niamatali, the founder of Authentic Indication, a FinTech company that's shaking up things in the market, just like Gordon's heritage, half-Guyanese, half-Filipino, and raised in the US. With 18 years of experience under his belt, Gordon is no stranger to the financial game. In his talk titled, Keep the Players, Change the Game, he explains how Authentic Indication is doing just that, revolutionizing liquidity search with their encrypted IOI aggregator. Think broader reach than any dark pool with zero impact on price. This episode is about to be as action-packed as Gordon's gym routine. Let's listen.
I'm not an entrepreneur. I built a career over 20 years in Japan as a finance professional, doing everything from accounting to sales, trading, and management. I fought hard to keep my seat through multiple rounds of layoffs, like after the Lehman shock in 2008 or after the Tohoku earthquake in 2011. I enjoyed traveling around the world, pitching trade ideas to hedge funds and asset managers during Abenomics. I loved that job, and I'd happily continue doing it if I hadn't run into a problem my industry couldn't address. Today, I'm here to speak to other professionals who see problems with their profession, in the hope that sharing my story will encourage others to act, even if it means taking a step away from the career they've built. In the movie Margin Call, an investment bank CEO said, "There are three ways to make a living in this business: be the first, be smarter, or cheat. And I don't cheat." Unfortunately, in real life, it's that third option that's dominated tech innovation for stock markets. Of course, we don't call it cheating. We have sophisticated terms we use, like high-frequency trading or order-sensing algorithms for the behavior we enable. Tens of billions of dollars have been spent on technology that effectively allows some investors to get a sneak peek at what their competitors are trying to do. To protect that investment, tens of billions more has been spent on RegTech to ensure we follow the letter of the law, even as we bend rules to their breaking point. I didn't like that, but it's legal and it's profitable, so I kept my head down and continued grinding. But then something happened that I couldn't ignore. A trading system was found to have insufficient controls, and my company chose to fire almost everyone who used it for misconduct, instead of taking responsibility for the deficiency of that system. It's what the company thought was required to survive at that time. I wasn't a part of that decision, but as one of the few veterans remaining, I was asked to help stabilize the ship, to work with technology to improve controls, to present to regulators, and most importantly, to re-engage clients furious with the firm for firing their friends. It was a brutal period with many hard lessons, but two in particular stood out. Number one, for many of our most important clients, when it came to a specific type of information, they wanted to have their cake and eat it too. Lesson number two, we were in the business of selling that cake. Now, I promised Naveen that I'd spare you the full product pitch, but the punchline is that a solution to this cake conundrum can't be found at the level of a single cake shop. You have to look at the level of the infrastructure used by all cake shops to do that. When I found a solution, my first thought was, maybe we can all work together to fix this from the inside. That hope didn't last long. Despite all the hype about sustainability and governance, there was little appetite to collaborate on a solution that might help competitors, even if everyone was better off in absolute terms. On top of that, any system built by employees would be the intellectual property of the firm, even if there was no intention to share it or use it. I'll find someone outside the industry to build this, was my next thought. but speaking with technology experts helped me understand why we say FinTech and not TechFin. A bank is a very simple concept to build from base principles. You can literally do it with clay tablets or Excel if you prefer. It's the thousands of intersecting regulations that make it a challenge, and the same applies for a brokerage. Tasking someone ignorant of regulation to build your FinTech platform is like asking someone ignorant of the risk to walk across a minefield. You may get a bold start, but you'll get a predictable conclusion. At some point, I realized I could make excuses indefinitely to avoid taking on the challenge myself. Those brutal years I mentioned were painful, but they were also a unique education on a specific industry problem. Finding the courage to do the right thing was the most difficult step. A wise man once said, "We must all choose between what is right and what is easy." That was Albus Dumbledore. Fortunately, I didn't need a sorting hat to help me understand I leaned more Gryffindor than Slytherin on this issue. So again, finding the courage to do what's right is the most difficult step in my experience. Everything that followed, raising capital, finding a development team, speaking with regulators, onboarding clients, all of those things are just huge challenges that can be broken down into small steps and then executed. The first step is different, though. I don't know if courage can be taught, but I do believe it can be contagious. So please humor me a bit and let me share a story. In March of 2011, the week after the great earthquake, we had to endure hundreds of aftershocks while inundated with news about radioactive fallout contaminating our drinking water. During one of those aftershocks, I was running down the emergency stairs when I passed a package delivery guy carrying a box of water going in the opposite direction. I'd like to say that I stopped and helped him, but the truth is I didn't even slow down. When the shaking stopped and I climbed back up the stairs, I didn't see him or his box. He had made his delivery. After that, I didn't have trouble getting myself into the office, regardless of the aftershocks. And a little more than 10 years later, leaving a job I enjoyed seemed a relatively small sacrifice against the potential good we could achieve if we made that job better for everyone, competitors and clients alike. To the budding entrepreneurs out there, I'd like to say that if you have experience and intimate knowledge of an industry problem, you have the best odds of success at building a solution. Even intractable and pervasive problems like insider trading and finance can become soluble with a shift in perspective and the technology already available today. It's your clarity of vision for a better product or service that sets you apart. You don't have to be an engineer. You can find great ones to work with you. To the finance managers out there struggling with shoestring and duct tape IT budgets, I'll quote Obama. It's not just enough to change the players. We've gotta change the game. Stop it with the scapegoating already. The bad apple shtick is tired and only erodes trust in our industry. If you can't upgrade your systems, speak with FinTech companies and see if an external solution is available. And to equity market professionals writ large, I'll point out that confidence in the fairness of our system has collapsed to the point where millions of people opt out and prefer to invest in meaningless digital trinkets. This is not progress. We need to push the balance of profit away from tech-enabled cheating back towards the analysis that supports long-term capital allocation. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a finance professional who built a tool to help address one of my industry's oldest problems. I hope other professionals will do the same for theirs. Founding a company doesn't have to be the beginning of a new career. It can be the next stage of your existing one, allowing you to tackle different problems for your clients. Thank you very much.